I'm going to give a short little comment here about an old timer I've known for a few years. That's 98 years old now. His name's Bill Ellithorpe. Bill Ellithorpe's been around as long as dirt, and he's been a farmer for a long time. But before he was a farmer, and even as he was a farmer, he is a rock man. He loves prospecting. And even though he probably spent biggest part of his life uh, farming, he and his brother Bob have always been prospectors looking for gold all the time. They'd settle for silver, and they found a lot of silver, but they really wanted to look for gold. So in the Denver Museum of Natural History, there is a gold nugget up there. It's about the size, I mean, it's big. It's like, uh, and it's a gold nugget that Bob had found when he was working for a company, and they were prospecting for gold up at Summit. Summitville has always been a gold reservoir, and the story goes like this. Bob's running a bulldozer in the old days, making a road up the mountain or to get to Summitville, or cleaning a road, something. Anyway, he stops, the bulldozer gets off to take a piss. And as he's standing there doing his duty, he looks around and finds this big rock, big round rock. And I mean, it's the size of a trunk. And being an old rock hound, like he and his brother are, he goes over to it, inspects it, and says, "This is gold. It's a gold nugget." So he goes on and finishes his day's work, moving dirt, making a road. But that night, guess who he tells about this nugget? That's right, his brother Bill. And so he and Bill go back up the mountain, struggle around, get this nugget up into their pickup, drive it back to Center, Colorado. Now remember, this nugget doesn't belong to them. It belongs to the people that have leased Summitville and are mining for gold. They take the nugget and they put it in this vault at the center bank, and they lock it up. So then, after they've done that, they go back to the gold company that they work for, or at least Bob does, and says, "Hey, by the way, we found this gold nugget, and we're willing to split it with you." Apparently, they figured out that if they suddenly announce a find of a nugget this size, someone would figure out that, hey, that is not yours. That belongs to someone else. So the story Bill tells me is they finally, after quite a lengthy time, struggle around and make a deal with the gold mining company. And so then they take the nugget, and it's too big to break apart, so they actually drill it, fill it with water, let it freeze, and that's how they crack it open. So actually the part that's in the Denver Museum of Natural History, which is gorgeous, is less than half of the nugget. And I mean, that one up there is like this big. Anyway, Bill and Bob, that's how they got one of their grub stakes, and they made a lot of money off of gold. But remember, back in those days, gold wasn't like today. It's $1,300 an ounce. Back then, I'm not sure what it was, but maybe $20 an ounce or 60 or something. I'd have to look that up and see. But anyway, the old rascal, that got him started, and he's been looking around for gold ever since then, and looking around for silver. And one day I talked to him, and he said, "Hey, come here and look at this." And he opened his back door, and he had a gob of silver as big as your head, solid silver, in the back of his truck. And I said, "Gosh, where'd you get that, Bill?" And he said, "Well, I got it up at Creed. There's a silver mine up there." And they dug it up, and they cut it in half. That wasn't even all of it. And they sold it to me. And so I said, "All right, I don't know what you're going to do with it, but that's a lot of silver." So anyway, the old guy is always been a rock rat. He's got a pile of just looks like dirt out at one of his farms, and I asked him one day, why is that dirt there? And he said, that's not dirt, that's gold. I just haven't had time to go through and pan it. Anyway, funny old guy. He's bought and sold a lot of farms. Sometimes he'd go get a loan for like $1 million from the Farm Credit Service, and then he'd figure out what to do with it. He says, I want to die owing them a lot of money. I said, okay, well, good for that. But he's lived long enough, and I think he's pretty much paid him back now. His first wife died, bless her heart. Bob's dead now, bless his heart. And he married a woman that was like 25 years younger than him. She married him for his money. He knew that. And but she didn't think he was going to live to be 98. So here she is now. She's like 65, almost 70 years old, and he's still alive. And he takes good care of her and all that, so I don't think they have any big problems. Anyway, his kids are in farming now, potato business, grandkids, potato business, airplane writer, all that sort of thing. But anyway, I thought it was an interesting tale about that giant nugget that's up at the Museum of Natural History, and how his brother and him kept half of it and gave the other half back to the rightful owners. Anyway, that's Bill Ellithorpe, 98 years old.